Hello, deck builders. It's Silent Signs from I Dream of Indie, and today we are taking a look at Inscryption, a card game within a puzzle game within a psychological nightmare. Before we proceed, full disclosure, typically card games are not my genre of choice. I'm not great at them. My brain doesn't work that way. But that said, this is a card game that I could recommend to almost anyone. In Inscryption, you are sharing the card table with a rather ominous shadow-cloaked figure. You don't know much about the situation that you've been thrown into other than you have to win these card games to keep your life, and the cards that fill your deck, well, they have a bit of a mind of their own. Definitely don't want to spoil too much in this game because, much like Pony Island, half of the fun of playing is unraveling the story, and each twist and turn along the way really adds to the suspense and makes it worthwhile. What I will say though is Inscryption is so much more than a card game. The card table is just where the game begins. Where things really open up is when you find out that you can get up and walk around the cabin and explore this very bizarre environment that you find yourself in. But for now, let's get back to the basic mechanics of the card game because it is what ties this whole thing together. To start, your cards teach you how to play. That's right, the cards speak to you and tell you how to play the game. Well, specifically, the Stoat card is the knowledgeable one here. Put it as simply as possible, you're dealt a hand of animal cards. This hand always includes a single squirrel card. A squirrel does not do any damage, but can be sacrificed to play a more powerful animal that can attack. For example, the Stoat card, which I talked about earlier, that's going to give you some snarky remarks throughout your gameplay, can be played if you sacrifice one creature on the board. So sacrificing that squirrel will allow you to play the Stoat card. The Stoat card can then be placed in any of your empty slots and will attack either the other player or whatever animal is standing between you and the other player on the board. When you sacrifice an animal like the squirrel card, you are also given a bone token. These bone tokens can be spent on summoning other types of animals from your deck, and the ultimate goal is to get the scale that's located on the left-hand side of the screen to tip in your favor. What do we use to tip the scale? Why, teeth, of course. What else would we use? Well, besides other body parts, I guess. Other more powerful cards will require more sacrifices or bones to put them on the board. You're also provided some special items that can assist you during gameplay, including pliers to help pull out an extra tooth from your own mouth, just in case that comes in handy, or some extra squirrel cards so you have some more sacrifices. I'm just now realizing how traumatic some of the things I am describing are. I apologize. But moving right along, if you are successful in a match, you get to move along with your little wooden figurine across a makeshift game board of sorts. There are some other stops you can make between your matches where you can pick up extra items, earn new cards, make some other types of sacrifices, sew your cards together in a rather gruesome way. You know, normal game board things. And if you're especially successful, you reach one of the bosses. I will see the prospector in my dreams for a very long time, and I do not mean that in a good way. Unfortunately, if you perish either in one of your card matches or at one of the bosses, it's back to square one for you, and that doesn't just mean starting back at the beginning of the board. Oh no, there is actually far worse in store for you in addition to starting back at the beginning of the board. I won't lie to you, there are times where progress feels a little bit slow going, and it can be a bit disheartening to start again after you feel you've accomplished so much, but fear not, there are things going on outside of the card game that might help you in your journey, or at the very least will keep you intrigued enough to keep pushing forward. You will very quickly realize not everything is quite as it seems, and things will evolve before your very eyes. I'm an absolute sucker for things like this. I love psychological horror, and this is absolutely no exception. This game had a hold on me, and I don't just mean the hands that were reaching across the game board every time I lost. I mean, it really gripped me, and I needed to know what happens. There is a fair amount of challenge here, so if you are easily frustrated by repetitive losses, do bear that in mind. You will lose. repeatedly. But man, what a creepy atmosphere they have created here, and a lot of that is due in part to the really cool graphical style. The card table is cool enough on its own, and the woodland creature theme is also right up my alley, but that's not what really sold me. What sold me is the fact that you have bottles that you can reach for on your right hand side, you have scissors, you have fans, you have totems, the wooden carvings all around you. There's something about the cabin itself that is just so eerie and ominous. I love it. Not to mention the fact that you're playing against a figure who is completely shrouded in darkness, and the only way that you know when you're playing a different boss or you're interacting with a different shop creature is by a wooden mask that he will don on his face. And I do think in the modern era that glitch effects can be a little bit overdone, but man, Daniel Mullins knows how to do a glitch effect. And as far as sound design goes, well, that is equally eerie and disturbing. You get all sorts of cool sound effects going on, from the tearing out of your teeth. Yes, I know, but the ringing sound in your ears when that happens is just so realistic, it's crazy. To the movement of your wooden figures along the board, the creaking of cabinets and floorboards, it's just excellent. Inscryption is not fully voice acted, but I didn't find that to be necessary, as long as you don't mind doing a little bit of light reading here and there to get the gist of the game rules and the plot going on. And in fact, the way the story is presented is so cool, I don't think you'll have any issue with it just being text. Whether you're a fan of card-based games or not, I think Inscryption is well worth your time. It kept me on the edge of my seat. It is just absolutely immersed in this psychological nightmare, and for that reason, I am awarding it a gold lamp to match the gold teeth that I contributed along my way. So will you be trying your hand at Inscryption? Let me know in the comments down below. Before I go, I just want to thank our indie warriors Mitchell Hall, Bunny, Cavallo, Bill T, Christian Cruz, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, CJR, PSC, C Coil, Skeptism, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Julian Colbus, JRS8, Raylan, and Marky Mint. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, don't forget you can subscribe down below so you don't miss any reviews or previews, and check out the description box as well if you'd like to see how to become an indie warrior yourself. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.